What is up, everybody? It is me, DevilNeverCry. We are back with another video, this time going over a post by none other than the director of DMC himself, Itsuno, and what it could mean for the future of the DMC series. As always though, make sure you subscribe to stay up to date with anything and everything Devil May Cry and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out when new content drops. So, if we cast our minds back all the way to 2020, as painful as it may be, or just a week ago in fact, on the turn of the new year, Itsuno put out a post on Twitter that reads as follows. Happy New Year. Did you play DMC 5 Special Edition? If you get new hardware, play it. Until then, practice with Virgil DLC. The new project under construction in parallel is on track. It's still a long way off, but stay tuned for the announcement. And then in the post is included a picture of Itsuno-san with two mocap actors in the studio, with one of them, of course, being Ruben Langdon. Now, I saw this post when it went up and didn't necessarily think all too much of it, but I've had plenty of people sort of ask me or bring it to my attention, wondering what this post could mean. And so that's what I want to go over in this video. The first and most obvious project this could allude to is a new entry in the DMC series. DMC 5 was the fastest selling and best selling Devil May Cry game to date. Capcom execs could easily have just been like, look, we've got a hit on our hands, Itsuno, we need to strike while the iron is hot, let's come up with a new project, and in the meantime, let's keep DMC in the consumer's headspace by releasing DMC 5 SE, keep people talking about and thinking about it whilst we get this new project ready for its reveal. What also leads credence to this theory is the fact that Ruben Langdon is pictured, the mocap actor and the voice actor for Dante himself since DMC 3, and of course Itsuno makes reference to DMC quite a lot in the text there. As to what the next project will be is anyone's guess in its entirety. I know Jojo Wi-Fi put a video out discussing DMC 2 remake, which, I think many people welcome the idea of a DMC 2 remake. I myself would like them to remake the original, my favorite DMC, as a lot of people know already, considering again that question time and again. But I guess they have less to lose if they remake DMC 2 because the bar is just that low. Another project people would probably welcome with open arms is a Ladies Night DLC. Although the DLC ship has sailed at this point, I think a spin-off would work quite well. The demand is there in the fans for Lady and Trish to take a more prominent role. Heck, get Lucia back. She's already included in the DMC 5 prequel novel, so it's not like Capcom have forgotten about her altogether. You can also bring Nico back as well. I'm sure that would probably do fairly well. Or, of course, they could go and bring out the big guns and bring the big DMC 6 or the big numbered title, whatever it may be. Though I'm not too sure that will be the case. I'm not too sure, to be honest, in general, that it will be DMC 5, because whilst there are some things in this post that allude to it being a DMC related title, there are some numerous things that could point the other way. First and foremost, yes, going back to a previous point, Itsuno did make mention of DMC 5 or DMC quite a lot in the post, but let's be honest, DMC 5 SE only launched last month, so no doubt he's going to be plugging his latest title. And then also taking a look at the mocap picture, just because Ruben Langdon is there doesn't necessarily mean it is a DMC related project. Ruben Langdon himself actually owns his own mocap studio and his own mocap production team. They've worked with Capcom across numerous titles, Resident Evil, among many of the other Capcom IPs. So Ruben could be in here for all sorts of reasons, not just DMC. And then the most glaring piece of information that we have to take into account in this situation is the fact that Itsuno himself wants to make Dragon's Dogma 2. If you hark your minds back all the way before DMC 5 released, which at this point it's been 2 years, if anybody can believe that, how time flies. If we hark our minds back to pre-release interviews, Itsuno-san went on record to state that when pitching DMC 5 and when he went up to the Capcom founder, he'd mentioned that he wanted to make DMC 5 or Dragon's Dogma 2 as his next project. Obviously, he was given choice between whichever project he picked next, and the rest was history, and that's how we have DMC 5 here. Now that DMC 5 is done, there is essentially nothing to stop him from making Dragon's Dogma 2. Taking a look at an interview from VG247 where this subject was broached, Itsuno went on record to state, "Here we are, we're now finishing up DMC 5. but I had ideas for Dragon's Dogma 2 at the time as well, so here we are, it's the end of this project. I've always got around maybe 4 different titles in mind, maybe about 4 different ideas that I'd love to make, but there's a difference between the titles that I'd love to make and the titles that I think I should make next. But here we are. We're here, and I'm already gearing up for my next project. We can't say what it is, but we're looking forward to getting to work on it. That was an interview from February 2019, so again, 2 years ago. Keeping in mind that as of late, a lot of Capcom's titles have taken 3 to 4 years to develop, and that they usually announce their title and attempt to release it at least within a year's time from that initial announcement, that they must be deep into development of whatever this next title is, and that we are likely to see it soon. So, all in all, it could be DMC, or it may not be. Could be Dragon's Dogma 2, or it could not be. We know very little essentially about what this project is, or at least we have very little concrete evidence as to what this next project is, but regardless, I'm intrigued. I'm a big fan of Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen, thoroughly enjoyed my time with it as an action RPG, and I'd love to have a sequel to it. I'd equally also love to have a sequel or a new project in the DMC series, but we can only just wait and see at this point essentially. Oh, and before I forget, before anybody brings it up, I personally don't think this has anything to do with DMC Pinnacle of Combat, the DMC mobile game. For any of you who don't know, I made a video on it recently which you can check out. There'll be a link in the description to that. But essentially, that has been outsourced. Capcom have basically given the license to a developer to develop this game. Capcom are only taking a supervisory role with Pinnacle of Combat just to essentially ensure the game is in line quality-wise with the rest of the DMC series and just kind of make sure everything is kept in order, so to speak. So I don't think this image with mocap and all that jazz and Itsuno has anything to do with Pinnacle of Combat. But that swiftly brings us to the end of this video. Let me know down in the comments below what you think this post alludes to in regards to what project is going to be next for Itsuno, and whether or not that project you think it is what you hope it is. I know many of you want a new entry in the DMC series. I know probably a lot of you would cherish a Dragon's Dogma 2. Some of you probably want it to be a wildcard, a DMC dating sim, or perhaps a DMC visual novel. No doubt that will probably get a ton of unironic support. But if you do want to continue the debaucherous and nonsensical conversation, there'll be a link in the description to the channel's own Discord server where you can post to your heart's content about DMC and just other things in general. If you want to get at me personally, there'll be a link to my Twitter in the description as well. And of course, if you want to catch all of the DMC nonsense I do live, there'll be a link to my Twitch page in the description as well. With all that said and done, it has been me, DevilNeverCry. I would like to thank all of you for watching, and as always, I'll see you all next video.